Why did I want to play Hellboy? Because he's a great character who deserves more of a life. And initially when they sent it to me, I was a little bit leery, and then they sort of told me about this reimagining that would be very dark and horror-based and kind of gory and kind of psychologically messed up, and it would be a real darker version of the character as well, who has a lot of these tensions and these sort of issues with his own genetic desires that are not very palatable. And I was like, wow, this is like, I want to be part of the superhero conversation that kind of happens in this country movie-wise, but I can't play straight ahead. I'm too weird of a guy. I mean, I'm too interested in the weirdnesses of outcasts and people that are kind of on the fringes, or these things that we don't want to talk about. I'm too interested in those things to play a straight ahead, kind of straight up good guy. So I was really grateful that they gave me this character that was strange and had a lot of issues, because I was like, wow, this is the one that I could really do something with. Oh God, yeah. I mean, would he be a different person without the influence of his father? He absolutely would. I mean, he was brought into the world to be this beast of destruction, and he was adopted by this man who raised him. And so in that way, he struggles with the idea of being an orphan, and he struggles even with the fundamental concept of why he himself is loved, as opposed to other monsters out there that we kill. And so his father is the one that he, you know, he'd be a different man because he wouldn't have this struggle, and also because he wouldn't overcome it and sort of understand human love without his father. I mean, he is fundamentally half demon, and when he comes to this world, I don't think he has an intrinsic, like, I think there's something about human beings that have an intrinsic social thing where we understand love, or we understand that it's like cool to hang out with people and stuff. And I don't think Hellboy understands that on a visceral level. And I think he has to sort of intellectually come to understand it. And I think the primary person that helps him understand that is his father, through a lot of tension, a lot of back and forth. And then at the end, it's a visceral response when his father is hurt, that like he understands love in that moment. And that, so his father is fundamental to who he is. How did I prepare for Hellboy? In a lot of ways, the role was I initially prepared for it almost like a ballet dancer. Like I had external physical positions, and then I went in and filled them psychologically. But like a lot of it is, Hellboy does certain things with his face in the comic, which I wanted to recreate. And he has a certain bearing and a certain thing. So I fashioned this like makeshift suit out of parts of like shoulder pads and stuff, and I would like walk around and even look in the mirror like a ballet dancer and sort of see what worked. And then out of that, once I started to get the actual physical structure of that, I went back in and I did a lot of work kind of psychologically on what motivates him and what I particularly had to say about father-son relationships, or about genetic destiny as opposed to conscious choice, or about being attracted to things that aren't good for you. All these sort of psychological strands, I went back in after I did the physical work. Working with Ian McShane is like the best. If you ever get a chance to do it, I would highly recommend it. You know, he's just such a, like, I guess the Brits would call it like a lovey. Like, he's just such a lovey. He's just like really sweet and kind and generous, and wants to laugh and like tell stories and tell jokes, and he's such a powerhouse of an actor, and he's able to turn it on and off so quickly. And I'm not as good of an actor as he, or as facile as the actor as he. So I would have moments where I'd have to just like pretend to have to do something and then just hide from him because I had to play some contentious scene with him or something, and I was like, I can't be joking around with you and like laughing and then go in and start yelling at you. So I'd lie to him a lot. I lied to him a lot. But yeah, he's just the best. Like, I was so happy that he did this because he's such an extraordinary actor. And every day I was just like in heaven acting with him, and I would just constantly try to impress him, which is a very Hellboy trait, like trying to impress his father. But he's the best. He's really great. What was it like working with Sasha Lane? She's lovely. She's so just sort of natural, and she's so like such a unique personality. Very grounded, but very just she's a real artist, like a real life artist. Like, she's kind of out there, and I remember like we were in Bulgaria and we were all kind of lonely and weird, and she would like paint. She would just be in her hotel room just like painting bags or doing like wild stuff. She's just very creative, and so in that way, and she's also just you know, she's just got a sensitive soul. And so one of the fun things to work with her on was she really fell in love with Hellboy, and we had a very kind of big brother, little sister relationship. And I remember her just really, when I was in the costume and in the with the yellow eyes and everything, I remember her just like loving being around me, like wanting to be around me and wanting to chat with me and stuff. And then as soon as I took it off and became David Harbour, she was like not very interested. But that, to me, I'll take it, because I like that. I want people to. I don't care that much about me. I care much more about my characters, and I consider that a real honor that she loved Hellboy. Day Kim is a pro. I was mad about how handsome he is. He's an extremely handsome man. He's very handsome in the film. Um, he's great. He's just such a great actor. He's a great presence. He's very kind, very generous, very prepared. Also, just in the role, I think he's so. He's really good. He's like, and he's also very agile and strong and good with stunts and stuff. So. He was a lot of fun to play with. Yeah, and he's really great in the movie. Working with Milla was like a totally amazing experience. Um, like, she's a great actress, but more than that, it's like she just understands movie making. I think it's because she's done it since she was like, what, 12 years old? Like, I don't know, what was the first, how old was Milla when she made her first movie? It was like, she was like, yeah, like 12 years old or something. So she's made so many movies, and she understands the sort of genre movie very well, and she was very invested in this. She wanted it to be a great movie, and she came in with so many ideas, and so much willingness to go there, so much kind of gung-ho, that she made the movie better. And she, not just with her performance, but she came in really being generous with her energy and with how to make a film. And it was, you know, she's such a life force. She's like this force of nature, and I was very happy to have her there. Millions of Hellboy fans excited to see the movie. What can they expect from this film? That makes me feel great, because I'm really excited to share it with those millions of fans. Um, you can expect a dark, horror-based Hellboy, and you can expect, I think, all the things you love from Hellboy. I mean, we do present him, I think, in a way that is faithful to the spirit of Hellboy, to what's come before, to what is in the comics. And it's just a fun, scrappy movie, which I feel like is what Hellboy is, you know? He's not the polished, you know, superhero of a certain thing. He's his own scrappy indie horror thing, and I think we really achieved that spirit in this film, and I think that I hope that you really love it. I think it's a lot of fun when I watch it.